Welcome to Clientology, the art and science of client getting. In this podcast, we're going to discuss how you can attract, convert, and deliver. So attract is how do you attract your dream clients while simultaneously repelling nightmare clients? And convert, we're converting those perfect prospects into dream clients. And lastly, under deliver, we're going to focus on topics around how do we deliver wow experiences. The theme throughout is how do we become more referable? How do we build referral programs and deliberately have systems that work to bring us a steady stream of perfect prospects and dream clients? Welcome to the show. Our guests are all experts in their field and they've agreed to share their insights with my audience. I hope you enjoy and I look forward to your comments and feedback. Welcome, everyone. Today we're chatting with my new friend, Matt Kraft. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thank you. Wonderful. Glad to be here.
Well, Matt, why don't we just jump right in? So tell me a little bit about who you work for and what you do. And then I want to share with the audience how you and I met. But let's start with your company.
Sure. So I work for a tech company in Indianapolis called Connected. Basically, all we do is we're LinkedIn nerds, and we help people to leverage the power of LinkedIn to further grow their business.
Love it. Well, we'll talk more about Connected as we go through this conversation. But first, I want to share with Matt, with the audience, how I met Matt. And there's a little bit of humor in here, but it's a testament to Matt as a human being. Literally one day, I received within minutes of each other 3 phone calls from people who were trying to sell me something on LinkedIn. And my audience knows I'm not a big fan of automating LinkedIn, and I will definitely never outsource my LinkedIn. But it was funny because 3 salespeople called me literally within minutes. And it was one of those days I was trying to get out the door. I was trying to meet a deadline. And I asked all 3 salespeople the exact same question. And it's a testament to Matt that he and I are having this conversation because of how he answered. The question I had was, if your tool is so good, why are you calling me instead of me calling you? And one of the salespeople actually told me off and hung up. Probably deserved it. I'm not gonna, he was clearly paid to dial and he was looking for his next deal. So, he didn't have time to waste with me. And I was very clear that I was not going to be a client of his. The second one said, that's a great question. I don't know. He literally said, I'm going to go rethink my life choices. I'll get back to you. I never heard from him again. And Matt said, look, Jeff, I'm just, we're a new company. We're just getting started. So I'm just reaching out to people and I'm looking to build relationships. And so that is a testament to Matt. So Matt, I just want my audience to know that you earned your spot on the Clientology podcast the minute you said I'm about building relationships. So I just wanted to share that. Does that jive with how you remember our first conversation?
It does. And that was, this was my first sales role ever. And that was probably within my first couple of months of doing this job. And I was sincere. I kind of find that everything is relationships. And I knew I needed to know more people. And I prioritize that. And the fact that we connected in that way, and we've had several conversations since. You've been very instrumental in just the way that you have shared your connections, your network with me, and also a lot of the mindset stuff. That was an impactful conversation then. Obviously, it's led to where we are now, but I thank you for all you've done for me and helping me see how business should be done.
Well, and I love that you were open to it. So let's jump in, and I'm going to steer the conversation slightly because one of the things I will point out is that Connected, and Matt wanted to show me a demo, and Connected is a powerful tool for doing the cold prospecting and the cold outreach. But what we're going to focus on today is how Connected the tool is also valuable for building relationships. Because to me, I don't want to automate anything that doesn't build relationships. So we're going to use that lens. But let's start with, who does Connected work with? Who's your typical client? Who should be watching this, listening to this, and saying, I need to reach out to Matt?
Yeah, we found that basically anyone that's using LinkedIn would be a good client for our product. Anyone who's looking to have more quote unquote handshakes, like create more of those opportunities to just have an initial touch point with people in their ideal area. So we all kind of have a dream list of individuals maybe that we're wanting to speak to. We just help people to identify them on LinkedIn, which can be difficult, understanding and navigating that platform, and then automating that first touch point. At the end of the day, it's about starting the conversation, and then if the quality is there and the connection is there, then it advances past that point. But anyone who's looking to grow their business or to grow their relationships and conversations would be an ideal person for our platform.
I love it. And just let's back up half a step. I didn't properly introduce you, but what's your title at Connected?
Yeah, so my title here is Partnerships Advisor. So my main priority is now more about starting more relationships with organizations that it makes sense for, and just continuing to let more people know about what we have and how we can bring value to their day to day.
I love it. And for anyone, just because Matt practices what he preaches, we will have Matt's LinkedIn profile in the show notes, so you can happily connect with him. Now, Matt, I want you to tell me the story of why Connected exists, but I also want, at the end of that, I want you to bring in, why do you feel that Connected was the company that you wanted to work at? Because I know that was an exciting story to get to know you a bit. So
Yeah. So Connected really is the brainchild of our founders who were digital marketers. Some of them didn't realize they were digital marketers or that was really a thing, but they were trying to reach their ideal people for their own ventures, and created a tool that allowed for them to do more of that while they could spend more of their time in other aspects of their business. Come to find out, hey, that's a very valuable tool, and we decided to pivot really and do less of the digital marketing ourselves, and now selling just the tool to other businesses that need that service. So that was all well before me, but as I stepped in, and why this made sense to me was because I knew, and I know now that our world is changing in a major way, the way that we're communicating, um, just the way that things move, how business moves. And I knew that what I was doing previously it didn't have me in the place to be aware of where things were going. And I wanted to be on the cutting edge a little bit. I wanted to know what was happening out there and be a part of it. And it was all relationships. At the end of the day, a friend of mine introduced me to this company and to the individuals here. And then when I was in this office, felt the energy, got a chance to talk to some of the people, I said, heck, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And I was like, hey, I don't have to leave. If you guys want to throw me at a desk right now, I'll start right now. So it's been a wild ride. It hasn't been too long of a ride that I've been here, but we've been growing astronomically, and it's been really fun. I've learned a lot.
I love it. I love it. And I think that, a lot of people think business development is the same across all industries. They think, and are really, for LinkedIn in particular, it is a business to business community. And a lot of people get really confused by that. So let's talk about some misconceptions. And, I'll share a couple of mine when you and I first chatted, but what are some of the misconceptions somebody's looking at Connected for the first time? What kind of wrong advice or myths do they bring to the conversation that trips them up and might be slowing them down as they integrate LinkedIn into their business?
Yeah. There's a lot of things. I think one of the big things that we see is people lead with selling. So often, someone has something they know is of value, and they just want to puke it on to all of their prospects immediately, right? I call it like writing manifestos, but those immediate message, that first connection message, people are like, hey, they tell you about how amazing they are and their product is the best and you need to buy it immediately. And there are so many people doing that on LinkedIn. And somehow they think they're unique, that there's a person out there that wants to read this, 2,000 word, manifesto and then say, yeah, I'll buy, and hand them the credit card information right across LinkedIn. And maybe those people are out there, but I haven't run across them yet. And I think that's a good sign that maybe they need to rethink their strategy, right? That's one thing that's really big, just that salesy immediate push. That's a big misconception. And another one that really bugs me is that people are very I guess canned. So like they don't bring any of their personality to the platform. They think they must be this professional, come across with these words and phrases, and it's like everyone's a person out there,
Yeah.
you know. I very much try to be myself in my profile, in my conversations, and that's what connects, right? That's what builds relationships. People want to know that you're an actual person with
Yeah.
an actual personality, and that they can have real conversations with, and people do business with people that they know, like, and trust generally, right?
Yep. And I will reiterate that when you reached out to me, I think I told you there was something in your voice. I knew that Matt cared. And that's the part I would stress to everybody is be authentic, because when you rattle off that list of features, or you show up and throw up is the phrase I use. Most people are looking for a cloth. They're not listening to you. They're trying to clean the vomit off of them, and they're like, whoa, back up. But one of the things I would say that I'm going to add to this is, I call it the golden rule, and we should treat others the way we want to be treated, and ask yourself sincerely, would you like it if somebody just immediately went sell, 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 without saying, hey, Matt, I care about you as a person. Do you happen to have this problem myself?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they teach you to be assumptive of the sale, but it's like, no, no, no. If you sell a solution that helps left-handed dentists serve their patients better, and I'm not a left-handed dentist, you're wasting your time and mine. So we owe it to one another to get to the truth quickly. Am I somebody that needs to work with you, or should we just agree to disagree and part ways? So
Right.
now, in terms of this, some of these questions I've been told sound a little repetitive, but I'd love to get to the heart of it. So, what specific problem does Connected solve for businesses? What are you guys trying to solve better than anyone else out there?
Right. What we generally solve is your time that you're spending on LinkedIn, right? So as I said, there's every business specifically is going to have a group of people that they want to have those conversations with. And generally to do that on LinkedIn, one, you're going to have to know how to search for that individual or that group of individuals. And then after that, you're going to have to connect to them, hit the connect button, probably write a message to them. And then after they connect, then you're going to be, if they're not immediately responding and saying, hey, let's have conversation, then you're doing follow-up. So this searching, connecting, and follow-up process is the bread and butter of LinkedIn at the top of the funnel. And we have a way to completely automate that. And that has proven to be of great resource to a lot of people and save them time and simplify that opportunity.
Excellent. And I'm going to pull out a couple of words there, but the big word I heard, which I think a lot of people miss, is process. They treat LinkedIn like it's some weird novel new thing. And, it's just like Facebook. It's just like
Yeah.
Instagram. But the secret to success, I believe, on LinkedIn is you have a process. Who do you reach out to? How do you reach out to them? When do you reach
Yeah.
out to them? Why do you reach out to them? Those are all huge. The other thing, and full disclosure, the first time Matt said I can help you automate LinkedIn, I said the hell you will. Um, and I
Wanted no
love
part.
Matt for sticking around and still having the conversation, because he said, Jeff, trust me, there's stuff you can automate. And I went, nope. I am a stubborn person, and I'm willing to admit here, when Matt showed me Connected, I went, and we agreed to disagree. I'm not going to automate everything,
Mhm.
but what I did see was the value of automating a lot of the repetitive things, so that I can focus on, I'm not going to send somebody a canned message, wishing them a happy birthday, and singing a generic happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear blank. I'm going to send them something personal, but there's all the other little touch points, and I loved what Connected could do. And for the record, anybody who knows me knows that I don't rave about automation, because I find automation a little hard to be authentic in. But if you think about it, in the real life world, it's the equivalent of having your assistant remind you that your wife's birthday is next Thursday, and you go, okay, I'm going to go buy my wife a gift. It's not the system buys your wife a gift and you hope like hell it's a good gift. You still put the personal touch in. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that little tangent. So
No, I appreciate that, and I want to talk about the process a little bit. You're right. It's a different language, and I think that it takes some time either to understand that language and research and get it down, or access someone who already knows it, right? Leverage a resource. And we also have that. We have account managers here that's what they do. That's their job, to understand the language that keeps changing, right? That's the thing about a platform like that as well. So it's so important just to know what you're really getting into, and don't expect immediate results. You got to put in the time, and it'll come.
I love it. And I think that's, you and I, we've had a few conversations to get to this point. Now, I see you as somebody who, you probably deal more with LinkedIn than most people would. In a typical day, you probably see more things on LinkedIn than most people see in a year.
Mm.
What are some quick wins? I love action for my community. What are some quick wins they can do to better position their business on LinkedIn, so that if they were to look at something like Connected, they're ready to go?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first thing that you have to do is really you have to make your profile pop. Your profile is your business card. This is your first impression to the world. You're reaching out to individuals, and this is the first thing they're going to see. For a lot of folks, if you put in your name, LinkedIn profile is going to be the first thing that pops up. So how are you presenting yourself to the world professionally? Um, Optimize it. You need to spend some time and understand what you're trying to get across to your customers. We obviously we have that service here in house that we do, and that's also something that I do for individuals. So make sure you're spending time on that, researching that, getting that down, whether using us or doing it on your own. That's something that I think is it's heavily forgotten about. Just your profile. And I've already forgotten the question after my ranting on the profile, but that's so important. Get your profile right.
Well, the good news is you answered the question perfectly. The question was, and I'll ask you if there's anything else, but the question was, what are some of the quick wins somebody can get before they even, reach out to Matt? Like, and I can't stress enough that if your profile is empty or terrible, or that sad generic, I'm a this, I do that, put a little effort into it. Like,
Yeah.
literally, this is the first thing people see when they connect with you. So what are
Yeah.
some other quick wins, LinkedIn wise, that people, either opportunities people can take advantage of, or mistakes they can make and they should be avoiding?
Yeah, I think it's easiest to think about the right things to do and focus on that, and that usually cancels out the bad things. But I will say posting and interacting is heavily undervalued on the platform. It is social media, so your interaction with individuals there is paramount, really, right? So, and it's amazing based off the content, you most likely are going to be in front of your ideal audience, right? So if you're adding value, adding in your either your opinion or your life experience, professional experience in the comment, you can make a lot of great connections that way. And I fostered a lot of great relationships just commenting on, stuff that makes sense to me, right? Maybe my lived experiences. And then, hey, lo and behold, other people that are in the comments, they had those as well. So we've had that commonality that's been fostered. It was started there, and the relationship has grown from that point. So post and interact is what I would say. And I'm getting better with posting. That's something that sharing content and doing all that stuff is not something that is natural to me, but it's amazing. And it just helps people get to know you better, which is only going to further help any of your business.
I love it. And now I'm going to guide you in this question because I know you're process oriented, so am I. What are some of the common connection points that people are automating in Connected? Because one of the things I think would be a big hurdle for me personally is to think about how could I standardize, how could I create the process? And so one of the things I do is every time I reach out to somebody, I write that somewhere as here's why I'm reaching out to people. And then I'm getting better and better at templating that so that I'm more structured. So what are some of the connection points that you see people automating very well with Connected?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. I think it's the easiest to connect to other professionals in your industry and with your job title. That might not be the first thing people would want to do, but that's amazing in a way because with LinkedIn, the way that it functions, once I connect with someone, I am now second degree with all of their network. So in terms of expanding, that's a really that's a low hanging fruit for a connection point. Hey, we do the same job, right? I also don't think people reach out enough to the people that are in their city. That's a great one,
Mm.
right? Indianapolis it wasn't home for me until 2020. But when I got here, I wanted to connect with more people in the city. So people, hey, I'm new to the city, just looking to connect to more folks. People accept that, and they're happy to share what they know. Um, and so that was a great one as well. And another one, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, but posts. That's an awesome way to connect with people. Hey, and I've, we can automate this, and I've done it and seen great results. But like maybe like a Josh Braun posts something, or the McKee brothers, for example. Those are guys that I follow, and I love their content. And I say, hey, I noticed that you follow these guys as well. I love what they said right here, and this is my experience with it. And I'm giving a personalized feel because authentically, yay, I read this post and this is what my feel, or this is my experience is. People see that and they want to connect, and we have great conversation afterwards because of it.
I love it. I love it. And something I would echo is, thinking about those personal contacts. And I jokingly, and I promise I won't sing again, but I would definitely recommend you think about the touch points. And to you talk about reaching out to people in your industry. I'm a big fan of people around me, my key strategic partners. And a great opportunity is, if you happen to know their birthday, you reach out, send them a private message. You can template that to an extent. I would say you want to, customize some of it, But the other one, an opportunity where I see people missing a lot, is the opportunity to connect with somebody that just got promoted.
Mm,
And that's um when I talk about relationships, and Matt as well, I think um LinkedIn gives you these little prompts for a reason. They know from their algorithm that they can encourage conversations, get people to chat. But if you're responding to somebody and acknowledging their accomplishments, it's a good way to start building a relationship.
definitely, definitely. And people love to share their story. Um, there's a story behind a promotion, right?
Yeah.
And it's better than a birthday kind of, especially for us as we get up in age. um yeah, it's a great time to reconnect with people and also just maybe connect with them for the first time. So yeah, I'll echo that. That's an awesome opportunity to catch someone in a high moment in their life, right, in a point where they have something that they want to share, right, and you can learn so much from them in those instances.
I love it. And the last thing I'm going to add, and this is, the way I function in life, is when somebody gets promoted, and I just realized now, Matt, that you and I reconnected. We sort of we're like, okay, we'll do something, and then we both got busy, and then the algorithm said, hey, Matt just got promoted, and I reached out to congratulate you, and I was like, wait a minute, why didn't I have you on my podcast? The reality is those moments are about keeping the relationship going. And I don't know how to automate this. Matt's smarter than me in that respect, but one of the things you could do and should do is when somebody reaches a milestone in their life, like getting promoted, reach out and say, what kind of person can I introduce you to? And actually use the power of LinkedIn to connect to human beings, because that's, again, the whole point of clientology is we are referable because we refer. So when somebody's getting promoted, you can reach out and say, who do I know that you'd like to meet? That's a very sincere gesture, and it moves that relationship along further. What do you think of that, Matt?
It's gold, right? You lead with value. And that's one thing that I've definitely got from you, Jeff, and the connections that we made after what would have been our second conversation. The way that you connected me, referred me to individuals that you knew would move the needle and in my business and in my day to day, that meant a lot. I took notes on that and I have implemented it as well. Like that personal message of connecting individuals goes a long way. And that's, in fact, I think that's why everyone's on LinkedIn, right? Like that's what we're there for. So let's do it well.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people do it badly, and it's not that much harder. It's actually easier to do it well than it is to do it badly. So let's shift gears slightly, but are there any other friction points? Somebody's coming to work with Connected. They just need to resolve a friction point before they're ready. Is there anything slowing them down from jumping in and using Connected?
Um, Nothing necessarily comes to mind other than their mindset. Maybe they're just going to have to reimagine uh, that the way that they've been doing things may not be the most effective way. And hey, let's try something else out and see what the results say. Because everything that we do is quantifiable. Like we're looking, we're numbers. We've got data and numbers to look at, and let's see if maybe we can do it a little bit better. So that'd be the biggest thing. I think a lot of folks come in thinking they got it figured out, and that kind of hurts. I've taken the mindset from having that mindset for so long and taking so many else that you could think of things a little bit differently sometimes, and also just listen to folks that are farther along than you, and maybe you can uh, skip some of the headaches. So that's one thing. A lot of folks are like, oh, I got it figured out. Oh, okay. If you have that mindset, it's kind of difficult to help you or to get a different result than what you've been getting to this point. And once people kind of are open-minded, it opens up a lot of opportunities.
I love it. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of sales trainers, experts out there, they say, oh, it's a numbers game. Just get out there, ask as many people as you can. The reality is that works for the kind of people who are professionals. They're used to sales and they're okay with rejection. But one of the things I would say for a, bricks and mortar business down the street, or, coach or consultant or a professional, we're not necessarily built to deal with the rejection that comes in mass. We don't have the fortitude to get up the next day and, okay, I'm going to make some, I'm going to make 1,000 cold calls by lunchtime. I think those individuals need to reevaluate how they want to show up in the world, how they want to appear in business. And that's the beautiful thing about a tool like Connected. If you're just one of those people who gets compensated based on the number of dials you do or the number of conversations you have by noon, Connected is a tool that can work for you. But if you're one of those people like me who builds the relationships, and it's about how many, meaningful conversations do I have in a week, Connected is also a tool for you. Is that fair, Matt, or am I oversimplifying?
No, I would agree with that. It's just a tool, right? So the tool is agnostic in a way, right? It depends on the user,
Yeah.
right? And it's going to do what you point and click it to do. So yeah, if you want to go that route, like I'll side with you as well. Rejection, I don't do it well. Not something that I lean towards. It's actually kind of why I ended up taking this role, is because I'm like, oh, sales scares me. I got to jump in there. But at the end of the day, if you're selling, if that's your route, like going about and doing the numbers game, like that never ends. Like that's nonstop. You jump on that treadmill and you're just going until you keel over,
Yep.
right? And that's why we see the churn in the industry of sales. But if you do it the right way, with the right folks, then the sales come to you. It's referral based, right? And that's what we aim at here. We want to make sure that people have success, and then they're just going to rant and rave for you, right? They're going to be, oh man, I use this. People do it all the time, whether that be the water that they drink. Oh, I like Fiji water. It's amazing. You should go get some. Or a restaurant you go to. We are so much word of mouth. That's just how business is really done. It's relationships.
I love it. I love it. Now, this is my favorite question because I like to hear you brag, but obviously no names. But tell me a story about someone that worked with you with Connected, and what kind of experience did they have, and really truly, it changed their business. So
Yeah.
tell us a little tale of a Connected success story.
The first one that comes to mind was one of the first customers that I sold personally, and they were a recruiter for a small recruiting agency. I believe they do. They place like people like in the technical field. So let's say you're an engineer that you work in energies. That's basically what they did, and they saw like immediate results because they were leveraging, like it no longer were they having to spend that much time manually doing things. They had a tool that was doing it for them, and a lot of that was just follow up, right? Retouch. And so the client told me, hey, this, not only have we found more of these people and placed them in jobs, but I've got my time back. And I previously didn't know, I love this company, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to stay at this company because of how much work it took, and we couldn't scale. But this has brought me back time where I see the light. I see that we're going to have the ability to take this where we want to take it, and it's not going to cost me my sanity. And that was a really great feeling. I've heard stories, I hear them fairly regularly now, but that one really touched me. Because it was someone that believed in the work that they were doing, but they just couldn't figure out a way to do more of it effectively. It was costing them in other areas of their life. And I was like, wow, I want to tell everybody about this. And that really gave me the courage and confidence to go about and share the story more.
I love it. And I think that's what I'm seeing is, a lot of people have tried something and, they say, oh, I tried LinkedIn 15 years ago and it was terrible.
Yeah,
Well, things have changed a little bit, but
a lot.
the key piece is the process.
Yeah,
And that's when I looked at Connected, I was like, okay, I need to share this with my audience because not everybody is going to sit down like me and create the process, whereas I think everybody should. So I just wanted to thank you for your persistence in showing me that. And again, that's the testament. We built a relationship, and now I'm happy to introduce you to anybody I know. One thing I will point out, and this might sound a little obvious, but if your clients are on Facebook, you need to be on Facebook. If your clients are on LinkedIn, you can and should be on LinkedIn. But think about this a little, take a strategic step back. If your strategic partners are on LinkedIn, you must be on LinkedIn because that's how you're going to build the relationships that move your business forward leaps and bounds. Now, Matt, what is the best way to get in touch with you if somebody wants to learn more about Connected or just wants to hear your thoughts on business in Indianapolis?
sure, sure. Well, as you stated earlier, I spend a ton of time on LinkedIn. That's where I live. So you can always find me on there, and reach out to me. I'm more than happy to be a resource in the capacity that I can be, whether that means making a connection for you or LinkedIn profile optimization or just different strategies of what I'm finding to be successful. More than happy to connect and have the conversation.
Awesome. Well, and I'll put Matt's LinkedIn details in the profile in the show notes. Matt, is there anything I haven't asked you about that you'd like to share? We have an open forum, so for potential clients, people who are interested, what would you say as a final thought, your parting comments?
Um, I suppose do your research. I think there's a lot of products in our space. Ask, ask around, but figure out what differentiates each product. I know that, there's reasons why people choose us over the other ones. And hey, I also understand that people have costs that they're worried about, that might, make them lean towards one option or another, but generally you get what you pay for, right? You might find something out there that might be a price point that looks more attractive, but what are you getting in return? So do your research, ask some good questions, and also see what people say about the product, right? That's really it. Here as much as I can be for those that might even want to know what questions I should be asking. I can throw you those as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's a blog post. What are the questions you should be asking when you're looking at LinkedIn automation software? Because I think, a lot of people, the default is price. Oh,
Yeah.
I have to look at price. Well, is price really, if you want the cheapest of the cheap, you could just use the free LinkedIn and it's free. You can't beat free.
Mhm.
You're looking for it to do something that you couldn't do yourself. So I may call on Matt to write the definitive guide to buying LinkedIn automation tools. Or
I'm sure our marketing department is taking care of that, so I'll just defer to them. But yes, it's important to know what you're getting. So yeah,
Awesome. Well, Matt, I want to thank you sincerely. It's always a pleasure. whenever we chat, I learn a little bit something new about LinkedIn, and I really appreciate your insight. So thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you. Can't thank you enough, man. And looking forward to future conversations.